Hey guys, coming at you with a swing analysis today. We got Ludvig Aberg. Really a great golf swing and something we can learn a lot from. This video was taken roughly when he was beginning his PGA Tour career or finishing up at Texas Tech. He does a lot of things that I really like in the golf swing. And a lot of it starts right before the ball. One thing he does is he always taps this club just inside the ball. That seems to be his trigger to, get ready to take the club back. And he doesn't spend a lot of time actually soling the club behind the ball. If we actually scroll here in seconds, this club is behind the ball for 0.25 seconds. So he's really locking in on once that club taps next to the ball and he sets it behind the ball, he's ready to pull the trigger. And this also lends itself to his fast pace of play. He's usually always ready to hit. And I think it's a really good thing just to be prepared to take the club back and make a committed swing, not spending too much time over the ball thinking. But let's get into the actual swing stuff. So we can see here, if we look at his balance points, we like to see the balls of the feet, kneecaps, and armpits all in a straight line. And he does a great job of that. Some people might say he stands a little close, but really he doesn't. That's a very good setup in my opinion. Those are the balance points I like to look for. And I think that's a great way to set up so it helps you stay in posture, right? So we'll draw a few lines here. Get kind of like a plain line going here and a line on his butt. So once he starts taking this club back, hard to see here, but this club is pretty close to his spine angle at the takeaway. It might be a touch open, but almost parallel to his spine angle. So taking it back pretty square, right? When we get to the top, one thing that I really love here is this club face is pretty much dead square. We measure square at the top by where the club face is compared to where your lead forearm is. And you can see that is probably 1 or 2 degrees off from parallel, so we can call that pretty much dead square, right? Meaning that you don't have to do a lot of holding of the face in the downswing, and you don't have to do a lot of releasing. You don't have to do too much of one thing. And there's nothing wrong with having an open club face, assuming you can get it closed in time. And there's nothing wrong with having a closed club face, assuming you have the matchups for that. But as far from a technical standpoint, it's a very safe place to be at the top. When we talk about shaft alignment, it could be considered across the line. I would say it's almost fairly neutral. He has a very wide turn, so it could actually get away with being even a little bit more across the line because I think I've discussed this before. The further your turn is, the more you take the club back, the more you can get away with being across the line. But if he was taking back a wedge, for example, and it's only going back this far, we want it in a little bit more of a laid-off position. You can see that he gets it in that position. So he's not too steep halfway back either. So it matches up with a lot of his clubs and allows him to hit drivers and wedges. And that's what lends itself to being a great ball striker, right? One thing I want to look at before we get into the nitty-gritty of the downswing is how he really maintains his spine angle. You can see that his butt does not leave that line. And he's coming in pretty much, has the club coming in just under the plane, pretty much on plane. And he's releasing the club on his shoulder line. Very neutral release. So I'm sure he has no problem working it both ways. Most players on the PGA Tour don't, but his swing makes it very efficient to actually work it both ways. One of my favorite things about Ludvig's swing here is his aggressive deepening of the hand path. We see these hands drop very much vertical. There's not a huge shallowing move. We don't need a big shallowing move. We need these hands to keep moving down before they start to move out. Keeping that hand path in allows him to rotate and maintain his posture. With most high handicap amateurs, you'll actually see them turn their chest open first, and the hands will shoot out, and then they have to do a lot of manipulation through impact. But you see these hands almost kind of follow this curve right here, which is what we really like to see in the golf swing. We have the hands dropping from the top, and then the body rotation later into the downswing is what really allows the hand path to kick out coming into impact. Overall, a very good swing. Because of that square club face at the top, he just has to keep it square on the way down, do some marginal closing. He doesn't have a very strong grip, not a very weak grip, very neutral. Very good middle of the line golf swing that if you're just trying to get a carbon copy of like a very middle of the line golf swing with no extremes, I think he's a great example. And that's why we've already seen him win on tour and finish so well in the majors, all at his young age. Great swing to look at. I use him a lot in a lot of my analysis, and I think he's, more importantly, a great example of a good setup, a good pace of play, and the hand path in the downswing by getting it to stay inside, lowering the hands, which gives the body the freedom to rotate late into the downswing.